Good morning once again on this beautiful Mother's Day. And it's so interesting because my family moved to Utah, so it's a huge adjustment that we don't spend Mother's Day together or Easter. I do fly out now for Christmas. But on this Mother's Day, I'm going to dedicate this to someone very, very special. And this special person came into my life 7 years ago. And his name is Tyler Neal. Tyler Neal, after my late husband and his grandfather that he never knew. Tyler Neal Tyner. So I am dedicating this to you, Tyler. And our beautiful Julian Hernandez is, he's filming this. And he wants you to see this picture of you when you were 2 years old. And you were at the Camelot Theater. And my daughter read the poem. And then you brought me a couple of dozen roses. And it was a very, very special, special Mother's Day. So I want you to know I love you. And I acknowledge all the mothers on the planet. Please, I'll give this to you. We can put it in a, maybe you just put it right down there in between that. It'd be wonderful. That we just acknowledge that there is love in the air, and there is unconditional love in the air, that there is forgiveness in the air, there is compassion in the air. And our theme for the month is intuition. Be still and know that I am God, that we are co-creators with a power and a presence in the universe, everywhere present. Right where we are, God is. And what I love about our way of life is we go within to the secret place of the Most High. We pray to our Father, Mother, God in secret, and we are acknowledged openly. The signs and the symbols of daily life are with us. And when we open the space for that, it's amazing. And my mother had me on her 19th birthday. And my mother was a great influence in my life. And she told me, you can do anything. And she did not believe it for herself, but she shared it with me. She imbued that energy within me, and she had 2 goals in life. And they say the saddest thing in life, what, is to have a goal and not reaching it, and having a goal and reaching it. Because then what? Is this all there is? We need to keep growing and expanding and unfolding. And this is a natural, organic process. It's not about getting as much as you can, as fast as you can. It's about letting it unfold naturally, in an authentic way. And it's not about working your assets off. I see that also. No, it isn't. It's about letting go and letting God do what God does best by means of each and every one of us who heard the call and answered. That call is God's voice within us, whatever we conceive our God to be, whatever name we put on our higher power. We're gathered here today by divine appointment. By divine appointment, think about it. Nothing happens by chance. That we heard the call, we answered that call, we showed up out of that call. Because there's such a power in community. It's a synergistic mind of God, where the whole becomes greater than the sum of its parts. Jesus said it very simply, didn't he? He said, hey, where 2 or 3 are gathered together for a higher purpose, there I am in the midst of them. There that Christ consciousness is in the midst of them. There the holy I am presence is there in the midst of them, because the burning bush burns within us and says, cast off anything that no longer serves us. Cast off anything that stands between you and your spiritual understanding. Let it go. Let it return to its native nothingness from whence it came, because in truth it is neither person, place, nor thing, only the life and the energy that we give to it. And we give so much life and energy to things that don't serve us, and they become monumental. Our way of life says, look at what you want, focus on what you want, build on that energy. I declare here today that our highest vision, our deepest desire, our most sacred goal is an already accomplished fact in mind and experience. Not gonna come, will come, future time, what? Never comes. Here and now. The universe only knows here and now. It moves beyond time and space, doesn't it? It only knows this moment. The point of power is always in the present moment. And I had someone Facebook me. She's a spiritual teacher. And she Facebooked me and she said, "You're the only one I have ever reached out to. I feel that I have lost my spiritual bearings. All my intuition seems to have gone out the window. I don't seem to know who I am. I'm giving all this amazing advice. People's lives are transformed. They're healed. They're off doing their divine thing. And I'm feeling left bereft and empty. And that nothing is working for me. That I feel broken and it's beginning to affect me viscerally." So I wrote back, and I don't usually do this on Facebook, but if someone is a spiritual teacher, and they're reaching out to me, and they are affecting a lot of other beautiful souls, and I said, this crisis of faith that you are going through, this moment, is your dark night of the soul. And when we go through a dark night of the soul, and we listen to our intuitions, and someone said to me once, "Well, how do I know if it's my intuition?" I said, if you have to ask, it isn't. Think about it. Because when you know that you know that you know, not even the gates of hell shall prevail against you. You know that you know. When deep speaks to deep, what deep answers unto deep. You know from whence you cometh and whither you goeth. We got it. We know this. I got this. All right. But if we have to say, well, you know, I followed my intuition, I think, that ain't it. It's that absolute knowingness, and to act on those little, beautiful, intuitive moments, those little nudges, those hunches, the instinctual knowingness that happens at a gut level within our solar plexus. So I just wrote back that go back to basics. Go to the Science of Mind textbook by Dr. Ernest Holmes. He says, "From far and near my own shall come to me. Though I deny my own, it shall find me and embrace me. My own is now expressed." Our own always comes to us. And begin to revisit your gratitude book and all the things that we have to be grateful for. I mean, we don't get up in the morning and question taking our first breath or gravity. Is gravity going to be there for me this morning? Should I get up, get out? We don't do that, do we? We just we don't even say thanks God. We just get up and do our thing. It's there. It's unconditional, isn't it? It's the unconditional knowingness that gravity is there for us, and so is our higher power. So is our God. I feel comfortable with the word God. My God is energy. It's everywhere present, as within, so without. And Jesus, he so got it, who he was. He said, "I and my Father are one." You know, he said, be of good cheer. It's like, get over yourself. I have overcome the world of conditions, appearances, and effects. I have overcome all that outer stuff that I gave my power away to. And when we can know, we have it. When stuff happens and we're not giving our power away to it anymore, we can just say, oh, very interesting. You know, it's interesting. The Chinese never cursed anyone. They only wish them an interesting life. And be careful when someone says, "I wish you an interesting life." I've had a very interesting life, I must say. And I've learned and grown. I've opened. And I think of this Mother's Day and the Earth Mother that supports us in being here, and all of the blessings that are in life. And that when we go through a crisis of faith, it's because we are going to move to the next level. There's no place to go. We go to the underground stream. We sip the essence of the underground stream where Jesus sipped and Buddha sipped and all the great avatars, sages and seers of the ages sip from the underground stream, and we arise back again, renewed, refreshed, rejuvenated, recreated. So when we have an intuition and it doesn't turn out the way that we thought it was, it's usually because the universe has a better idea. And this points up the beautiful story about the Clark family from Scotland. And when I was in Scotland speaking last summer, I actually, met some people that knew the Clarks. And it was so interesting because they had a family of 5 children, and they had saved their money, and they were going to go to America on one of the great, beautiful ships to America, and they'd saved and they'd scrimped and the whole thing. And a week before they were to leave, their little boy was bitten by a dog. And so they stitched up his leg, and then they put a yellow sign on the house, quarantine for 14 days. This meant they could not go on this great, beautiful liner to America. And the day that the ship sailed, the father went to the dock, and he was in tears, and he stomped the dock, and he cursed God, and he cursed his son, that this could happen, and they had been saving for years. And then a few weeks passed, and they heard that the Titanic had sunk. And lives were lost. And he thanked God and went to his son, embraced his son, and said, thank you, thank you, thank you for saving our lives. God works in mysterious ways. God's wonders do perform. What looks like a slam in the face one moment is a blessing the next. Someone said, well, I've had enough blessings in disguise. I want some real blessings here. But those moments, when eye hath not seen, nor ear hath not heard, that there is a spiritual knowingness within each of us, and that we quiet ourselves and listen to the still small voice. And I have shared with you that when I was moving here almost 15 years ago, and that my realtor would not show me the house I wanted to see that had a for sale sign on it because of a vacant lot on Vistachino. And it was so interesting. I looked at all kinds of houses, and I was feeling rather disappointed. And I just went up to the house, knocked on the door, and said, I'm here to see the house. She goes, oh good, I've been waiting for you. Went in, saw it. I paid full price, asking price. And after I signed, and we called my realtor because she wanted to assure her that they were building houses on Vistachino in 3 months, that I would not be a woman alone on a corner with a vacant lot behind me. And there was a knock on the door as we're signing, and she talked to my realtor, who was very concerned about me. And they said, we're here to see the house. Now, these are the real people that have made the appointment to see the house. And they lowballed, right? And I got the house, and in 30 days, I was here in Palm Springs. So it's so interesting when we listen to the intuition, and we act on the intuition, even to the perhaps, upset of others, or their opinions. When we know that we know that we know, and we act on that information, something happens within ourselves, and we begin to trust. And this is what I told my Facebook friend. You've got to go back to trust. You've got to go back to the foundation that allowed you to know who you were to begin with. Because you haven't gone far enough to sip from the underground stream. It's about going deeper. It's about having our faith shaken to its roots. Because we know that love points the way, as Dr. Holmes stated, and law makes the way possible. And think not you can guide the course of love. For love, if it finds you worthy, shall guide your course. It's up to us to surrender to that energy. It's up to us to let go and to really trust that the universe knows. And that as long as we are doing our work and we are putting into the law of mind the things that we know that are going to forward and advance not only ourselves, others, but ultimately the planet. And I loved it at the Palm Springs Walk of Stars when Mr. Oliphant said, service is the rent I pay for the space I occupy. But the actual quote is, service is the rent I pay for the space I occupy on the planet. And Dr. Helen Caldecott, a peace activist and pediatrician, coined that phrase, and I loved it. Because once we heal our issues, it's time to give something back, and we will never outgive the universe. Never. So this morning, as we open that space to allow God to do what God does best, as we listen to the still small voice, as we go beyond our crises of faith, and we come to the underground stream, that we sip from its essence, we arise transformed. Be not conformed to the things of this world. Be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, the renewing of your life. It's a new day. It's a new opportunity. This is the moment that we have been waiting for. This is it. I loved it. Someone had a sign. They said, if you need a sign, this is it. And it just said on the sign, this is it. If we need a sign, this is it. And to take the signs, the symbols, and the energy of life, and to allow us to know that we are here to live and love and laugh and be who we are, and to weep if we need to weep, and to know that we are supported in that process. For every tear that falls, a flower grows in consciousness. Last Mother's Day was the first Mother's Day I'd ever spent by myself. And I took my late little pet, Sir Lancelot. He was the last of the three that I had when I moved here. My daughter gave me the gift of a beautiful wolf hybrid, Sedona, who passed away. She gave me Sedona because she felt that she was a deterrent, since I lived on the corner with, at that time, no fencing. Now I have a wall with bougainvillea and wrought iron and all of that, but then I didn't. So I had my beautiful Sedona, and I had my little Merlin, who was a little Shih Tzu, and we used to call him our little shy boy, because all of my students would put their purses like down, and guys would put their backpacks down, and he would literally unzip with his little mouth, and he'd get in there and get the food. It was just like someone said, I had a croissant. What happened to it? You know, he smelled it, he got into it, it was there. And then Sir Lancelot was my last. And so we went out to lunch, and we sat in an outdoor restaurant. And rather than feeling sorry for myself, as I started to do, I just said, I am so grateful for all of my blessings. And I put him on my lap, and I said, you know, we texted my daughter, and we did a thing back and forth. And I said, I'm making the most of it. I'm truly grateful, and went into that gratitude space. Instead of, you know, here it is Mother's Day, and I'm all by myself. But I wasn't. Because there is always an energy that goes before us and prepares the way. Today I invited my 92-year-old fairy godmother, Alice. We're going to Spencer's for Mother's Day, and we're going to have a wonderful celebration. She said I'm the daughter she never had, and I love having a fairy godmother. All she does is say bibbidi-bobbidi-boo, and it's done. It's just fabulous how that works, isn't it? It's fabulous how that works. So we open the space to create new traditions. And I shared with my Facebook friend, create an altar, light a candle, light some incense, and give gratitude that your intuition is working. You reached out to me, right? And I know the truth for you, because when we're subjectively involved, it's very difficult to go higher, isn't it? It's very difficult. But when I turn it over, I can let it go. And I can truly know this day in whom I live and move and have my being. Because we're all going somewhere. Do you know where it is? Higher yet. Where? Higher yet. Where? Higher yet. And so it is. God bless you. And happy Mother's Day.